Hey guys, a couple of you have been asking me about showing you some of the inner workings of my waste veg oil heater. It's built off the Ozzirt style, Ozzirt. So I'm going to give you a rundown of lighting it and some of the improvements I've made. Anyway, this totally cold. I don't know if you can see my breath right now, but it's very cold here in my shop. This was burning the other night, so there's some left in here, some sludge or whatever. No wick or anything like that, just a little bit of sludge left in here from the other night. I'm going to show you how I light my system. Alright, so I've got my primary burn pan in. I have a Sidekick right here that I created to help me light things. I could have poured it into the pan ahead of time, but you'll see the need for the Sidekick in a moment. I have 1 cup. Here's the 1 cup line. I have 1 cup of kerosene in this. I'm going to pour, I don't know, maybe 1/4 cup or so. About 1/4 cup of kerosene into there. That goes down through this tube into the back, which falls directly into the burn pan. So I've got about 1/4 cup of kerosene in here right now. I'm going to light that kerosene. It's so cold in here that, come on, light up for me. Sometimes the kerosene can actually be a little bit hard to get started. A wick would be very nice in that case, but usually not needed. Okay, once that's going, put the lid on my Sidekick there. Now remember, that's 1/4 cup of kerosene. I'm going to start my waste veg oil drip. This stuff's going to be very, very thick, kind of like pudding right now. The key here is not to flood the system, not to get too much waste veg oil in there, because there's only a small amount of fuel. The kerosene is enough to get the metal heated up, get things going. I'm going to try and show you how I get this whole system heated up and started on very minimal fuel wasted, no mess with wicks or opening up my burner to put stuff in. This little Sidekick is amazing because it lets me add more kerosene to keep things going if it's almost caught but not quite. This is my main tank. It holds a little bit more than 5 gallons of waste veg oil. I'm going to go check that this is in frame. Everything looks pretty good. Go ahead and move this off to the side now. At this point, I'm just trying to get that drip to a couple drips per second, probably 3 drips a second. I don't want it going in there too quickly, because if you flood the system, then that really, really cold veg oil coming in takes so much of the heat, so much of the BTUs away from the system just to heat it up that it fails to get started. So while that's going, I spilled a little bit of the ash out of my pan, so I'll let you watch the fire. I was just checking on something at the other end of my shop. can just hear the waste veg oil starting to crackle. That means it's getting up to boiling temperature. I'm going to cut the drip back even more now. In fact, I'm going to cut it off completely at this point because, again, too much waste veg oil when you're starting, it floods the system, steals BTUs away. Here's the beauty of the Sidekick. I see it struggling right now, and it's right on the edge. You know, it's probably not going to have enough to get going, so I'm going to put just a smidge more in. Probably 1/8 of a cup. If I didn't have the Sidekick, I wouldn't be able to do that. I'd have no way of introducing a little bit of extra fuel into the system without opening things up and having a flame that I'm trying to pour kerosene over. It's very dangerous. The Sidekick makes everything very safe, very easy, convenient, and it allows me to test different stuff. If I want to test, I had butter-flavored popcorn topping the other week that I was able to pour in my Sidekick, you know, a cup or so at a time to see if it burned, and it burned beautifully, but I wasn't about to pour that into my main system and take a chance on it. So we're going to see if things don't pick up here. I could just pour the entire cup of kerosene in there and that would pretty much get things going, but I'm a minimalist. I like to be very efficient and not waste fuel. I'm sure many of you are in the same boat. You know, if we had all the money to just buy as much kerosene as we wanted, we wouldn't be making waste veg oil heaters. So, you know, I try and start it on as minimal amount of effort as I could. I could have put a wick in there and done it that way, but getting a wick in there, some cloth, would have required either opening this or opening that. And many times, the only reason I opened it was to show you that there was nothing in it. Most of the time I come out here, I just pour a little kerosene and go. I'm not opening anything up. The only time I open it is to clean it, which, hell, I could probably go 2 weeks without cleaning it, burning it many hours a day, because without putting wick material in there, there's really nothing that builds up inside. So, the waste veg oil is starting to get up to heat. I hear it crackling in there. Might have actually waited a little bit too long to turn it on. I cut back the waste veg oil too much, so that's what I caused that problem. Sorry about that. I might have to pour a little bit more kerosene in because I was stupid there. As I was talking, I didn't pay attention. But that's the beauty of the Sidekick, so I'm sure I could have gotten this going had I turned my veg oil back on. Alright, we are down to a 1/2 cup. So at this point, I've poured 1/2 cup of kerosene into my system. Could have gotten away with just a little over a 1/4 cup had I probably paid more attention. as you can see, things are picking up now. The huffing noise, where it's sucking air and sucking fuel is picking up. The whole system is starting to heat up quite nicely. Again, I apologize, I should have been paying attention to my drip before. You can hear it crackling now. That's what you want to hear. That's usually tiny, tiny bit of water or moisture in your waste veg oil. It is very cold out here. At this point, the flame has pretty much stabilized, and now it's going to slowly build up heat in the entire primary combustion chamber. It's like a chain reaction. Once that's really heated up, then any oil going in there is flash boiled and immediately vaporized, and when it's in vapor, then it's able to burn. So it's getting that system heated up that's key. I'll keep the video running a little bit just so you can see that it truly is lit and running off of the waste veg oil right now. Trying to think if there's any other design features I can talk about while that's going on. Some keys. You definitely want to have a drip pan. I've had problems where my system, before I had the ability to see how fast it was dripping, I had a blind system. Those two go hand in hand. You definitely want to be able to see your dripping so that you can properly control your flow rate, and you want to have a drip pan below it in case you ever have any spillage or overflow. That would easily catch a half a gallon of liquid coming out of there, which would be a lot. So before, I didn't have the dripping visible, and I didn't have a drip pan. I actually had a runout, a spill, where there was a little bit more moisture in my waste veg than I thought there was, and I had too much in there, so when that water content finally came up to boil, it just increased the mass of fuel in the system exponentially, and it just overflowed. It sort of boiled over. It was, oh man, disgusting. Probably about 2 cups worth of liquid and goo and stuff came out, which was disgusting, but lesson learned. Don't make my mistake. Drip pan and have the ability to see your dripping as it's going in. Definite bonus, and if you never have an overflow, great, but I would never take that away because it's too risky, it's too messy if you have something screw up. So anyway, things are caught nicely here. It's just picking up speed. It'll take another probably 5 minutes. It was very cold out here, and it's going to take a while till the metal gets heated up, the burn pan gets heated up, secondary combustion chamber gets heated up, but once things heat up properly, this thing running at full tilt will have a flame this high inside of my heater. I've had it almost the whole way to the top of the chamber in there. It's amazing how high it reaches. So hopefully it's still catching my flame. Yep, everything looks good. I'm going to cut the video off because at this point there's not much more to see. It's just going to intensify and get hotter and hotter. And you've seen videos where I've shown my system at full burn. So that's pretty much it. You know, another 5 minutes from now, maybe even 8 or 9 minutes from now, it'll be up to full steam, and you know, the tank over here will start warming up, which helps the whole process just go even faster. But definitely want to be able to see the dripping. Always keep a drip pan under it, and if you end up doing a Sidekick like I did, I think you'll enjoy it. It'll make your job a lot easier. You don't ever have to open your system for anything other than to clean it out. And because you're never putting any wick material in there or solid material, you could easily go 2 weeks of constant burning before you'd have to clean this thing out. You know, it's probably a good idea to clean it out once a week at least, but because I'm never putting anything solid in there, I'm sure I could go quite a long time without opening that up. All right, for now, I'm going to sign off. Take care.